the 2014 Candidates Forum. I'm Jean McFarland, the program moderator. This segment features the candidate running unopposed for state senator in the 34th Senatorial District. During this segment, the format will permit the candidate to offer a statement. Now I'd like to introduce the candidate. He is Leonard Fasano, Republican. Mr. Fasano, will you begin, please?
Jean, thank you very much. And I want to thank the Wallingford Community Women for putting on this debate here tonight and giving me the opportunity to address the Wallingford residents. It's been an honor and a privilege to represent the town of Wallingford in the 34th District. I also represent North Haven, East Haven, and part of Durham. I took this job because I love helping people. That's why I became a lawyer. But you can help a lot more people being a state senator. And I felt it was important to get involved, and I did. It's a wonderful job, and it's a wonderful district that I do represent. We've gone through some tough times over the 14 years that I have served as state senator. Most recently, in the past 6 or 8 years, we've run into very difficult financial issues, and the state has run deficit after deficit. Make no mistake about it, irrespective of what you hear, we ran a deficit last fiscal year. Now, people will tell you we didn't. People will tell you we had a surplus. And that's because we borrowed our expenses to create a surplus. It's equivalent to you not paying your grocery bill or paying your electrical bill and borrowing it from the bank and paying it over 20 years and then claiming that you have a surplus. Well, that's the way the state of Connecticut has been run over the past 4 years. We cannot afford and we cannot tolerate that road anymore. We need to change. I have 3 children. The first one just got married a few weeks ago, and she is a nurse, educated in Connecticut, went to nursing school in Connecticut, but now lives in Florida. I have a son who I hope is going to return to the state of Connecticut. He's in graduate school in Boston. But as he said to me, Dad, it's expensive to be in the state of Connecticut. It's expensive to own a house in the state of Connecticut. It is expensive to live in the state of Connecticut. And he gets it, and he's 22 years old. And then I have a third daughter who's going to school in South Carolina. And like my oldest daughter, who also went to school in South Carolina for college, she said to me, Dad, you know, it's so less expensive to be in South Carolina than it is in Connecticut. Gas is less expensive. Rent is less expensive. Living expenses in general less expensive. I reminded her it's because I'm paying the bills, but nevertheless, she understands how less expensive it is to live in another state. Well, that's sad. That's sad. I'm proud of our state. I want people to remain in this state. And for us to do that, we have to change the direction that we're going in, which means we've got to get control of our spending, which means we cannot continue to borrow and pretend like we're fiscally solvent when in fact we're in very tough shape because those bills are going to be due year after year after year. So we have to get a hold of this. Well, how are we going to do that? First, we've got to change leadership. Without a doubt, we have to change leadership. That means from the top administration to the control of the Senate and control of the House. I go around and people complain about Connecticut. We're 49th as being the worst state to do the business in. We're the worst state to retire in. We've got the second highest energy costs in the country. In the country. And yet, the same people come back and present the same policy as the majority party and as a leader of our state. The answer is we have to change who leads the state and the direction we're going. I know how I vote. I know I voted against the largest tax increase in Connecticut's history. I know I voted and voiced my objection to a busway to nowhere that costs $1 million a foot. I know I voted against that. But that's only a few votes that went with me on that. Read about what your candidate has voted in the past. You're not going to agree 100% with your candidate, nor should you. However, on the big issues, you have to agree with them 75, 80% of the time. And if you think we're going in the wrong direction, then you need to change the way you're voting. Because that's the power you have. That's the power that you bring to the table, is the power to vote. And you've got to use that power. Connecticut is a great state. It's got great resources. We've got one of the best education institutions in the country. And our kids are the most educated. Unfortunately, they're not staying here. We need to change that. We need to give them opportunity. We need to give them hope. We need to give them a reason to stay in this great state. And to do that, we have to get wise and we have to change. I look forward to working as hard as I've done for the past 14 for the next 2. I appreciate and I'm so proud that I've been elected by my district for the last 12 or 14 years to represent them. I hope I've done a good job. I'm always accessible. A lot of people have my cell phone, and I always try to be as many places as I can. Please get in touch with me if you have ideas and you wish to share them with me. Until then, remember, it's very important to get out there to vote. Connecticut is a great state, and I look forward to working with you to push Connecticut forward over the next 2 years. Once again, I want to thank you for the opportunity, Jean, that you gave me here to talk to the Wallingford residents. Thank you and good night.
Thank you. This concludes the 34th Senatorial District segment of the 2014 Candidates Forum. On behalf of the Wallingford Community Women, I thank you for watching and remind you to please vote on November 4th.